Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell and to check out the join membership option.
Alright guys, so welcome to this video, and today we will be working on this anime tower defense game once again. And I just want to say sorry first of all if I sound a bit weird, but I just got my wisdom teeth took out like yesterday, and that's the reason for my, well, weird voice maybe, so I'm not sure if it bothers you in any way, okay? And yeah, so I decided to work on this thing right here for this video. And before we get started, please comment #bosses if you consider yourself as a part of this community. And thanks for your support. We are growing pretty fast right now, and yeah, so thanks for that, guys. Now, so I thought about creating those towers which defend this building, okay, by attacking these units. So I call them minions, but their proper name is units. Units is a better name for that, in my opinion. So I think that I will call them units now. So I will try to do it. And I wanted to create those towers, which you can place right here, and which attack the units. Okay, so that's my plan for today. And in the next episode, I'll probably get deeper into customizing those towers and those units. So like trying to make actual anime characters which represent those units and towers. And just overall adding more features such as a wave counter, maybe a damage counter such as All-Star Tower Defense has. And just getting this into a playable state, okay? And who knows, maybe if this thing is done, or this series is done, then I maybe could someday publish this, okay? But let's stop with this talking and let's just get right into this video. Okay. So let's create a GUI first of all, which represents the units, no, the towers you can place. And I'm not trying to copy also tower defense or such, so I'm just trying to make things similar or inspired by it, and just try and I'm just trying to demonstrate to you guys how all of these things which you can see in game work. So what the coding could look like. So it, of course, it's not a exact copy of what these guys probably use to code, but it can give you some kind of idea. And you could take a look at, yeah, so how all of these stuff works. I'll be designing this GUI right here, so excuse if I'm not talking that much. Also, my teeth is pretty, or my mouth is pretty hurts a bit, and I need to reduce my talking in order to, yeah, make this video for you guys. So this is just about designing, and I will just talk if it's pretty necessary, okay? So You can just copy what I'm doing right here, or you can make your own design, and I will later on tell you what you need to care about if you make your own design. Okay. Okay, so this place button right here is very important, and this tower name right here is optional for you guys. So if you prefer some other way for representing a tower in your GUI, then you can do that. But I will stick with this text label right here. So this is optional, as I said, and this button is necessary. So you will need this, okay? And what I've done right here, so I've created a new script. Let's call this monitor. And this monitors the player's behavior regarding these buttons, okay? These place buttons inside. So what it does right here is it loops through all of these things right here, and then if the thing we're currently at, so it can loop and be right here, or at these frames, and if the thing at which it currently is a frame, so one of these 4 things, and has a child or a component called place inside, then we want to check if this place thing was clicked. If that's the case, then we print try to place inside of this output right here. As you can see, it works. Now there's never mind. Let's wait. I'm thinking on what we should do next. So create a script inside of script service. Let's call it tower. And the first line is a variable which will create a data store. So we first of all need to refer to the data store service, then get data store, then the data store's name. So in this case, tower data store. And then every time a player enters the game, and this argument or parameter right here represents the player which just joined. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to create a loop right here, which loops 4 times and which creates a string value every time. Okay, so we have 4 string values in the end, which represent every single tower the player has. And for those purposes, write this thing. Okay, so we're defining a new variable which refers to a newly created string value inside of our player. And this string value has the name tower, then 2 dots, and then string I. Okay, so I in this case is the number, so number of loops we have already had. So if you're like at the first loop, then I is 1. If you are at the second loop, therefore have looped 2 times, then I is 2, and if you're at the third loop, then I is 3, and so on. Okay, and this toString right here just converts this number, this I, into a string. And the tower's value is empty by default. So the user has no tower by default. Okay, let's check if this has worked. Okay, there we go. So var string values have been created right here. Now let's create a remote event. Let's call this tower. And what we want to do next is we want to update these buttons or these icons right here once the tower once the player's tower has changed. Okay, so we want our towers to be displayed down here. So we have already created these string values, and now it's time to work with them, okay? To use their values and to represent them down here. So for those purposes, we will write v. Okay, so v is our frame right here, and then tower name, then text equals. Now we have to define the player up here, so player name players local player. So this players tab right here, and then our local player inside, and the tower name's text equals the tower, right? The name of one of those frames, because those frames have the same name as our values. Okay, so we can just put the frame's name right here, and then value. Okay, so tower name's text equals the value of the tower at which we are currently at in terms of looping. Okay, so all of them have changed to empty. So they had a name before, and now they have been changed to empty. What we can also do is we can take this, so this refers to the affected tower value, and then once that thing has changed, then we can also change the text. Okay, so you have to imagine that we are looping all of this stuff right here. So let's say we are here, then the script is checking if this is a frame, and of course it's not, and therefore it is skipping this thing and moves on with this, and this isn't a frame either, therefore it skips to this frame right here, and this thing is of course a frame, and then yeah, experiences the stuff right here. So if the place thing inside has been clicked, or it is experiencing a change of its text label inside, so change of this text thing right here, and it is waiting for the changes of the affected tower string values. So this thing right here has the name tower1, and therefore has to check for the tower1 string value. Okay, so it has to replicate those changes and represent that tower string value. Okay, so I want you guys to understand that. So let me demonstrate this again. So this, okay, so it has the name tower1. This stands for this. Okay, so let me demonstrate you this. Let's say I change this value to Madara, and as you can see, this changes as well. And if I want to change third tower's value, then let me change this to Gara, and this changes as well. Okay, so these are just representing these values right here. Okay, Now, with that being said, we could now move on with building. No, with placing those towers. So let me do that. So create a new folder inside of this TD folder right here and call this placeable, okay? So this will hold parts which are considered as areas on which towers can be placed, okay? So placeable areas for the towers. So create this part, then put it inside of this folder right here, and then move it a bit inside of the earth and make it around the path right here. So these parts represent the areas in which you can place your towers, as I've just said. Okay, there we go. So let me anchor them, turn this to false, and let me make them transparent, and there we go. Okay. Now, what we want to do next is, let's get back to this script right here. And now every time this tower has been clicked, or the button has been clicked, the icon has been clicked, we want to check if the tower which the player wants to place is not empty. Okay, so it would not make any sense if the player is able to place an empty tower. So what is the player supposed to place then, you know? So if player, so this refers to the string tower value. This of course the value, and if that is not equal to empty, then the player is able to place the tower. So if this is the case, then we want to do the following. So we create a variable called mouse, which will get the player's mouse. So player get mouse. So this gets the player's mouse. And then we want to create another thing, local x instance.new int value. Okay, so we are creating another integer value inside of our frame. If we call this thing equipped, or we are calling this placing, and this just represents or tells other scripts that we are currently placing the tower which is assigned to the following 4 frames right here. So we of course need to check it up here if the frame continues this placing value. So if it already has this placing value, then we want to stop placing. So this is of course for the case if the player is not placing. if the player is already placing, then we want to destroy the value and want to clear up other stuff, which I will create in a bit. Okay. Oh, and there's one other thing right here. So let's copy this again. Oh wait, I think that we can do it in some other way. Okay, so let's create this object value right here. Let's call this placing. And instead of creating a int value every time, we just override this placing value right here with our frame. So script placing value equals no, and so what this does is we are first of all checking if this is not set to null, and this is only the case when a tower is being placed currently. And if this is the case, then we are checking if the tower which is currently being placed is the same as the frame we are currently at. And if that's the case, then we first of all want to set this back to null, and we want to stop placing the desired tower. Okay. Now let me create a folder right here called towers. Let me copy this dummy right here as well. Okay, what this does is while script placing value is not null, do. So this is a loop which loops while the placing value right here is not set to null, okay? And this is only being set to null when the affected frame is being clicked again. So let me put this inside of the spawn function right here, because if I would not do that, then this whole script would only focus on this loop and would not check if the button is being pressed again. Okay, so this thing makes the code in between run apart from the rest, so this is not stopping the rest. Okay. Okay. And while this is the case, we want to first of all so what do we want to do? We want the tower to follow our mouse movement. Okay, so let's say that we are like trying to place a tower right here. Then we want the tower to be here as well by well, some kind of preview. Okay, so let's say I'm moving my mouse right here, then I want my tower to be previewed right here as well. Okay, so the tower is like following my mouse movement. So we want to do this first of all, and I have to think about how we could do that. We create another bool value, which is being set to false. And if p is false, then so this bool value right here tells us whether the tower has been already created or not. Okay, so if we would not check for that, then we would create a new tower every time we move our mouse somewhere. Okay, so we had like many towers, but we only wanted one, which is for the previewing purposes only. Okay, so we are then right here referring to the replicated storage, and then the towers, and then find first child. No, no, guys. Oh, wait, never mind. Keep this, and then we want to copy this. Okay, so this is the string values value. Okay, so this is tower string value, and this is its value, which is the tower in the end. So if this tower we are looking for exists, so it must be inside of here. So towers must be inside of here we are looking at, and we are looking for. And if these exists, or this tower exists, then we of course want to clone it and put it to our mouse position. So tower clone, then we put it inside of the workspace. The tower humanoid root part cframe equals, wait, let me fit this outside this if statement right here. Oh, okay, so that's actually a problem. Okay, never mind. I found a solution. So we just give this thing a new name. The new name is player's name, in addition to which tower we're trying to place right now. So player name, so let's say Builderman, okay, as an example. So Builderman Tower 1. Okay, so the player's name in addition to the current tower we are trying to place. Okay, and then we of course need to look for that. And if this has been found, then we want to change its C-frame, or its position in general. Player, no, we can directly refer to this mouse. Mouse, hit. Okay, let's see if this works. So I of course need to change one of my towers value to dummy 1. Let me do that quickly. Dummy 1, there we go. And okay, so this keeps happening. Okay. Okay, there's a solution for this as well, probably. Okay. So let's first of all turn this to false. So let's see if Let's see what happens. Let me turn this to false completely. Okay. Let's undo this, okay? Alright, so let's work with body movers. So let's work with body position. Why? I'm not able to place it for some reason. Body position, hello? Okay. Position, okay, so I'm not able to place it for some, or not insert it for some reason, so let me do that manually right here, body position. So by running this code below, we are creating a new body position instead of the workspace right here. So we can just easily take this and place it inside of our dummy one. And now instead of changing the C frame every time, we can just easily change the body position, okay? To make things look more smooth. So get rid of this. So mouse hit P. So P converts this whole C frame into a vector 3. Let's see if this somehow has changed something into a positive way. Dummy 1. Probably not, but there we go, okay. Body position is not a valid member, okay. 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 Oh, I forgot this position. Yeah, this position thing right here. Let's pause this for a moment. Let's move on with this. Okay, so I want this thing to be able to be saved. So I do not have to change it manually every time. So it gets loaded every time, and you know, just to save some time. Okay. So let's wrap this up inside of a p call. So if an error happens inside of these two things, so inside of this p call function, then the whole script does not break, okay? And it is pretty easy to encounter an error when it comes to using data stores. So you sometimes have the case that maybe this data store is unavailable, which is very, very unlikely, but if it happens, then you are like safe. And sometimes there is no data, and well, so there are many cases which can cause errors, okay? And this is just to prevent them. Okay, let me create this variable called getData. And this getData right here will be overwritten by using this data getAsync. Okay, so we are receiving the data right here, which was stored on the player's user ID. And if the whole thing was a success, then we have successfully received the player's data. So get data, so we can still split this whole thing up in whether the data exists or the data exists but is nil. Okay, so it's empty. So these are two different cases right here, and we actually do not need to check for this case, because for this case all we would do is just give their default values, which we have already done up here. So we can just loop through this table we are receiving, so table of data which has been saved earlier. So we are looping through this thing right here. Then we're just checking, so player find first child I value b. Okay, so to understand this, you will need to understand the format we are saving this whole thing to. So let me create the save function quickly. So as you guys see, I've already thought about a saving format before I even have written the saving method right here. And yeah, so as I said, we will have a table, and we will loop through the player right here. So why through the player? Because the player contains these tower values we will need or we want to save, and so we are looping through the player right here, and if the thing we are currently at is a string value, then we want to add it to this save data thing right here. So save data, then these brackets right here are save data plus 1 equals, and then the format. Okay, so I've wanted this to be and the value, so the name and the value, but I'm not sure if this thing works out. This is probably wrong. Let's just do this. So this is our index. That names our index. Makes sense because we're trying to access it down here as an index as well. And this is our value. So this is our v right here. Okay, so this is the format we are saving this whole stuff to. And yeah. So data, set async, and then the user ID, I guess, and then the data. So this is the way to which you save this whole stuff, or the way on how you save this whole stuff. Let's hope that this whole thing works. So let me change them to dummy1. Okay. And as you guys can see, I'm able to move this guy around. And yeah. Okay. Okay, I actually think that we should disable collision and And let me see if this works. No, it does not work. Okay. Oh. Okay, this whole thing did not save. Probably because I need another event to save this whole stuff with. So if the game is close to get shut down, or server is close to get shut down, then we want to loop through a player list and save for every player. Where's my mouse? Oh, this access is not enabled. Let me enable it. So if you receive this error right here, then go to game settings, security, and enable these services right here. All right. Okay. Now there are several things wrong with this right here. So let me first of all get the part. Okay, so the part to which my mouse points at. So you can always get the target of the mouse. So let's say that I have my mouse right here. Then I'm able to get this part right here, okay? And you may ask, why would I do that? So the reason behind this is that, wait, give me a second. So parent equals placeable. Okay, so like instead of wait. Let me just write this whole thing down and then get to explaining. Okay, so we are getting the target. So in this case, the part at which our mouse is pointing to. So this part, for example. And then we are checking if this thing is inside of this placeable folder, okay? And if that's the case, then we are able to place on that part. So what we're doing right here is we are giving it the position of our mouse with the slight difference that instead of using the mouse's Y position, we are using this part's Y position, okay? So it does not matter how you try to point with your mouse, the height, the level of height of this dummy will always be on the same level. The only thing which changes is the X and Z value, okay? So, and that one changes according to our mouse. As you can see, it has saved perfectly. Let me see if this works. Okay, so it's causing issues. Okay, attempt to index no with parent. Okay. Okay. So we're checking for this whole thing to not be null. And let's say for some reason that this case didn't happen, okay? Then we would just want this whole thing to have our mouse's position. So just in case, you know. So as you guys just have seen, my mouse was right here where no part was. Therefore the script has this script just break, okay? And in order to prevent these errors and glitches in future, we just have this emergency case, okay? So if none of these things happen, then just assign the dummies or the tower's position to our mouse's position. There we go. As you can see, this thing's coming back. Okay, so this is... Okay. Okay. So I think that this whole thing is working right now, so we should add some kind of indicator which tells the player if he or she is able to place this whole thing. And this of course only happens when the dummy should be placed on this placeable part right here, or on these placeable parts right here, because the placeable area consists of multiple parts. Okay, now the question is, how do we do that? Okay, now let me just import this, not import, but let me move this inside of the workspace. And let me do several changes on it. Okay, so I have an idea. Okay, let's create part, and this part is a ball which has force field as default material right here. And this part, as long as it is green, tells the player that he or she is able to place this dummy. And once this thing turns red, then the player is not able to place it anymore. If we call this whole thing indicator, and we will weld it to our humanoid root part. And also make sure that it is not anchored and can collide as put to false. Now move this back up inside of towers. And let's do it right here, okay? So up to this point, we are referring to our tower, indicator, brick color new, lime green. So this is only when it is placeable. And if this is not the case, then we want this thing to turn to really red. So not placeable. Okay. Okay. The reason for this is probably because our mouse is targeting this whole ball right here. So we need to find an alternative to this ball. Wait, or let me check what this thing right here even targets. So I'm not even sure about that. Why is nothing happening? Why isn't nothing happening? Oh, because the tower was not inside of the replicated storage. Okay, so it is. Okay. Now the humanoid root part. Okay, interesting. So we need to find a way to tell the mouse that the mouse is not allowed to target everything inside of this tower right here. So we need to find a way to do that. So there should be a property called target filter, which is obviously a filter for this target property right here. So we can just filter out this whole thing and focus on the parts, you know, on the placeable parts, on the placeable area right here. Okay, target filter is not a number of placeable parts. Yeah, because I need to refer to the mouse and not to the mouse's target. Makes sense. Okay, but I think that this whole thing is still... Okay, it is not. Okay, interesting. So maybe because of this else, it just skips this part right here. So let's make the second case more specific. Okay. Okay. Attempt to. Yes. So let's get rid of this print right here. So we have. Okay. So I see that error right here. So we just need to place this dot name. So we actually so we want to compare the name, not not the parent as an instance itself. So that was the issue, and as you can see, it works now. Once we, yeah, do you see? So this whole thing works now. Okay, perfect. So the last thing we want to do in this video is, once we have clicked that this tower is being placed, okay? And once we have clicked on right here that the tower is not being equipped anymore. So I think that the second thing I just mentioned is pretty easier to do. So this whole placing value is nil, and we just look for that tower we have been moving. If this tower has been found, then we want to destroy it. Okay. So there was an error right here. I think that yeah. Of statements. Okay. Okay, there we go. And yeah. Okay, I'm not able to click on the other frames right here for some reason, but let's focus on that later, or well, never mind. Let's deal with it now. Okay. So tower 2 wants to be placed. So this whole thing runs to this point. Probably to this point. There we go. No. Wait. Yeah. Okay, so removing this notch should fix it, I guess. But why was this working? So why was this working in the first place? Okay, so that was not the issue. Okay, weird. Very weird. Not empty. Print is nil. Okay. Okay. There's no, okay, so this of course works. Now, what is up with this? Okay. Okay. Weird, very weird. So this is the issue. So we're not cloning this thing, we're just directly taking it. And that is or was our issue. Now I can just remove these prints right here and check this and see if this works now. And there we, okay, it is creating too much. So it was cloning every time. Oh, because I forgot to turn this to true. So remember, this t value was supposed to tell the script that a tower has already been created, as in this case, okay? Okay, why isn't this coming back? Well, doesn't matter, we can just easily take new towers from here. Okay. Now for the final thing, to placing these dummies somewhere on these placeable areas right here. So this is the final thing we will deal with now. Okay. Now let's do it right here. So we need to get the user input service. And get service, user input service. So we are referring to user input service for this variable right here, and user input service, input began, connect, function, then input and GP. If input user input type equals one connect function. Oh, sorry for that. Okay, and I'm not sure if we need to check for these two things again. Let's just do so, just in case. Then we want to print place. Place. Okay. So what happens instead is we will fire server this tower, telling to place the tower and passing the position data at the same moment. So let me define the remote right here. So remote equals then the path. Get service replicated storage tower. Wait for child tower. Alright, so this is the path, and we want to fire server this whole thing. So the first argument is always telling what should happen, so this is just the way I do it. Of course, do not have to do it if you know what you're doing, of course, and yeah. So the first argument tells what to do, the second argument in this case tells which tower is affected, by using the tower's name right here. So in this case, read name, I'm sorry. So we just have to enter read name. And the last thing is the position data. So this right here. And once this has happened, then we want to clear everything. Okay. So this is it to this monitor script. Now let's continue inside of this tower script. So let me just copy this remote variable right here. Let me enter it here and remote on server event. So this is an event which only fires or gets triggered when the remote event has been fire servered. And the first argument we always receive is the player. Then you can just add more arguments if you expect them. So we expect 1, 2, 3 arguments in total. So this should be the first argument is always what we want to do. In this case, place. So if the first argument is to place, the second argument is the tower's name. So let me do the following. Okay, so this might seem a bit complicated, but let's just go through this step by step. So we are defining the tower variable right here. And first of all, we are referring to this folder right here. Then we are referring to something, okay? So our value 2 is the effect tower which we were working with inside of this whole thing. And this gets the tower string value, and this gets its value, okay? And the value of the tower string value is the name of the tower the player wants to use. So this whole thing refers to one of the towers inside, and this clones the tower. And now this whole thing needs to be parented somewhere, so tower parent workspace. And now I need to check for something, so reposition value free. So I just want to check if this works. If this works, then it's perfect. And if not, then I will try to fix it. And if this works, then I will tell you what it does. Okay, reposition. Okay, I did the. So I did the same mistake once again. So I forgot to add that position. And what was up with this monitor? Workspace. Attempt to index no. Oh, okay. So that was what I already feared would happen. So let's add this weight inside. Maybe this helps. So we are trying to pass position information of a tower which is being deleted later on. Okay, and that's the issue right here. Oh. Okay. Why is this happening? Why is it like duplicating or copying multiple towers right here? Let me see. Well, let me add this clicked right here, and let's add it as another condition. So once or as long as clicked is false, then we are able to click, and we're turning this to true right away. There we go. Okay, so this is on how you position it. There is, of course, a better way to do this, which I will show now. So instead of working with these body position things right here, let's wait. Let me first of all delete this indicator inside and the body position. Okay, let's work with something else. So let's instead just set the humanoid root part's position to the desired location. Okay, pretty funny. Okay, there we go. Why are they like inside of the ground and not on its surface? Let me change that. 0.75, and now things should look more different, I'd say. Okay, there we go. So the tower has been placed. Okay, so the tower has been placed, and it does not attack yet, but I'll probably show that in some other episode of this series. Okay, so this is just on how you place these things, and actually making these things like attack, defend the building. These features will be covered in another episode, guys. Oh, and let me anchor them, because otherwise they would just be able to be moved around. Okay, so that's it with this video, guys. I'm very sorry to, or if my voice today has bothered you in any way, or if you had some misunderstandings. So as I said, my wisdom teeth was took out some days ago, or yesterday to be exact, and I just wanted to record the video for you guys, and thanks again for your overwhelming support. Many of you guys have liked my previous video on this tower defense anime game right here, and I of course want to continue it if you guys keep on supporting this much. And yeah, so thanks for that. If you guys have enjoyed this video, then please leave a like, share it to all of your friends, subscribe, check out the join member option. And if you subscribe, then turn on the notification bell. Give me feedback through the comment section, comment #bosses. And check out the description for this place. Also, I will leave a link to this uncopyrighted place inside of the description. And also check out my Discord server and all of the rest, guys. You know what I'm talking about. And see you guys in the next video, and take care.